Alright guys, what's up and welcome back for another Diablo 3 how-to guide. Now this one's going to be covering something that a lot of people in the comments have been asking me, and what you need to understand is this is going to be my own opinion. This is how I go about doing things in Diablo 3. If there's a better situation that works for you, then I fully respect that, but this is how I do things. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be going over how to get gear, how to get sets, how to complete sets, how to actually, when you look at a build online, you're like, how do I get all those pieces? I'm going to go through the process of gathering all this stuff up. But for those of you who do not already know, this channel, we do a lot of build guides. I play all different classes, even though I technically main a demon hunter, but we play a lot of different classes. I mean me and the mouse in my pocket. But I do a lot of farming, right? I did a lot of farming in Season 10, leveling all 6 classes at the time, and getting a lot of gear. It takes a long time, but sometimes there's tricks that will help you complete sets faster. Now, if you're like me and you're looking at a class and you need to complete every set that they have and get as many of the key legendaries that they offer for builds, it takes a little bit more time. But if you just want to focus on, building one single build, I'm going to show you exactly what I do to expedite that process as much as possible. First of all, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more Diablo 3 content, how-to guides, build guides, all that kind of stuff. But starting off, we're going to talk about set pieces, right? Now, there's something you need to realize when it comes to actual items in Diablo, right? You're using smart loot. That means if you're playing a demon hunter, there's only a certain amount of gear that's going to drop that's usable for you. What you want to do is you want to be able to, I don't know why all this stuff is just hanging out in here, but whatever. But what you need to do is you need to figure out like your starting point when you start to build it. We're going to use the Shadow Impale build as an example, right? And to give you kind of like some context here, when you start building the set, you want to look at specific slots to start with. You got to realize that as a demon hunter, whenever you either upgrade or you drops let's say a legendary glove, you have a chance of like all of the different gloves that are usable by the demon hunter are going to drop, right? So what I usually do is I try to decide what slot is going to have the smallest pool of items, and that way I can use Kadala and I can upgrade crafted items into legendaries in order to get the first few pieces of the set that I need. So usually what I've had the most success with is usually boots. Actually, usually not many boots. So what I'll do is I'll actually run bounties, I'll run normals, I'll get blood shards and do all that stuff, and then I'll use Kadala while I'm running GRs and stuff, and I'll basically just buy a whole lot of boots, and until I get one shadow boot or whatever, and I'll get multiple shadow boots, right? Once I start getting multiple shadow boots, I then go to the cube and take all the extra pieces, usually the ones with lower stats on them, and I will be using convert set item, the skills of Nilthur, and I'll throw that, the extra set piece in here and convert it. And then what I'll do is I'll go back and run some more GRs and go back to Kadala, look for some more boots, find another shadow boot, and just then convert that one. And then basically in probably like an hour or so, I could basically produce the entire set from that. Now, as far as any other piece, it's a utility for a build as well. Some of that stuff you just have to like look for. You can also go and you can craft. If you don't want to use Kadala, for instance, you can go over here to the blacksmith actually and just make boots, right? You just make some rare boots, and then you can go to the cube and you actually upgrade those into legendaries, which can still turn into set pieces as well. And that's going to be this one here. It's a little bit more expensive because you're using a lot of other crafting mats, but if you have a lot of those, you want to use like the balance between convert set item, Kadala, and the Hope of Cain. That's pretty much how I get set pieces really fast, and because like I've actually put together all 7 at this point. I've got all 7 classes with every set piece for each of them, and all supporting gear and all that stuff as well. Now, not all of it is greatly rolled. You're going to still want to use a mystic and roll certain items and stuff onto gear and just stuff like that. But a good good context for this whole method here is like Carly's point. I don't know why is this. I don't know why my ancient one is here, but my Carly's point, right? which should be a primal. I don't know where it's at. There it is. I don't know why I have my stuff is all messed up. So like to Carly's point, right, whenever I was going after the primal of this, well, I knew that I was probably never going to be able to drop, right? Because but here's the thing is, like I was saying before with the why we picked boots to go off of, because that's a smaller pool of items, just like the dagger here. Whenever you upgrade a rare dagger on a demon hunter, you have two options, right? You can either get Carly's point or you can get Greenstone's Fang or Greenstone's Fan. That means you have a 50% chance. It's the same thing with boots. Take all the boots that can drop for a demon hunter, or all the pants or whatever. You pick whatever pool of items that's smaller, and then you just basically use Kadala to try to get multiple pieces of the set you're looking for, and then you just flip them in the cube in order to actually complete the set. And just that's the same way if you're like trying to put together a Shadow Impale as well. Just make daggers and then basically just upgrade them in the cube until you eventually get what you need. That's how I actually ended up getting this primal Carly's point as well, by just I probably upgraded, I don't know, 100 or so daggers before I got it, but the point of it was I had a 50% chance to get a Carly's point, and then I had 10% chance from that to get an ancient, and then obviously a 1% chance from that to get primal. So it takes a little bit of farming as well. A lot of builds as well. You gotta realize too, there's a list online. You can go to like Diablo wiki or whatever, and you need to look at the list of things that are exclusive to the bounty legendaries. There's stuff that's not going to come from Kadala. They're like Ring of Roll Grandeur, right? Ring of Roll Grandeur is not going to come from Kadala. It's not going to come from GRs. It's not going to come from anywhere but from the bounty rewards. And I think it actually drops from Act 2 and Act 4 bounty chests. But with that in mind, you should be able to actually take a build that you see online, where there's a build I do on a video here, and if you don't have any of the pieces for it, you can just start from the very simplest point, like boots or whatever. Or like most people, if you've been playing a class for a while, you've probably got stuff in your stash that you've been holding on to. But I mean, this is the best possible way to get set items. I mean, look at this. Like, I had pretty much all 4 sets completed for the Necromancer the day it came out, just from using this method. And it's just most people will just say, I don't want to use bounties. They hate bounties. That's fine. Everybody hates bounties. But the things that you get from bounties, the mats, are very useful in completing builds. I mean, I pretty much got every Necromancer legendary and set item and stuff, with the exception of rings, because they're kind of a really low drop rate. I think a lot of people are having a problem with jewelry for the Necromancer. But even for that, I was using the same principle. Like, if you're looking for a certain ring for a certain class, well, you need to be on that class when you're upgrading it. But like, just craft a bunch of rings. Or when you're using blood shards on Kadala, if you're going for rings, all those crap rings that they give you, like the rares, save those, and when you have enough mats, upgrade those in the cube instead of using mats to craft over on the blacksmith. So I guess the moral of the story here is you want to be using all of Diablo's systems, because they all play into each other and they all will help you complete builds. And this is actually something that you can actually probably put together a build faster using this method than you would by completing your journey when the season starts. So keep this in mind whenever season 11 actually does start. Like, using crafting to make rare stuff from the blacksmith, and then use that stuff to upgrade in the cube with mats, will help you close out some of the legendary stuff you need. Because you can basically like say, this is a rare ring, I want a legendary ring, and then you have your better chance of getting what you need. Go to Kadala as well, looking at your lowest slot, like let's say boots, start with boots. And like, a lot of people will just try to like go to Kadala and be like, oh, well, I got the shadow boots, now I'm going to try for the shadow chest, and we'll start buying chest pieces. You shouldn't do that, because it's actually easier and faster just to buy a crap ton of like boots and wait till you get like 6 or 7 of the shadow boots, and then just take each of the worst pieces and flip it into a new piece for the set until you complete it. Now, one thing to note here, it's not going to help you get like ancients, because whenever you convert set items, they can't actually be ancient. But this is more along the lines of actually trying to just get the build actually going. Actually, is it? I mean, I think it's reroll can't be ancient. Let's look. Upgrade. Okay, so when you convert a set item, it can't be ancient, but that's fine, because then you can actually go here and use bounty mats to actually keep re-rolling it to try to get it to be ancient. There's all these things. Like, there's so many recipes in the cube that's going to help you whether it be when you're starting a new season or you start a new character and you want to get a build up. Anyway, that kind of turned into a rant. So just a really fast recap. In order to complete sets or builds really quickly, use Kadala, use bounty mats and make craft stuff at the blacksmith, use the cube to either reforge, convert set items, or upgrade rare items, and then you're also going to be utilizing greater rifts and all that other stuff. That is how I do it. I know it sounds complicated, but once you actually start thinking it this way, using all the systems, the item systems in Diablo, it's going to be really helpful. You'll actually be able to actually complete a lot of builds as well, get a lot of set pieces going, and also start experimenting a lot, either within the same class or within different classes. But all complications aside, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. If you want to see more Diablo 3 content, hit the subscribe button. Let me know your feedback in the comment section if you have any other questions or concerns, or if you want to see more like informational videos like this. But that is how I get all my set pieces, and that's how I get all my legendaries that I'm after, because it ain't easy doing build guides at this. I mean, I do a lot of build guides. I have like so many characters, so much gear. Like, I'm running out of space actually, but whatever. I'll see you guys later. Take it easy, have fun, and good luck on that loot hunting.